You're listening to Polymatic.media, episode 86 for December 2021. Welcome to the Polymaticast. Hey, John, how's it going?
Not so great, but we'll get to that.
Oh, it's going to be one of those Polymatics. Okay, well, we didn't really chat too much about too much before we started recording, so this is going to be interesting.
No, we'll not get into that specific problem, but it's been lots of
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean,
needling me all the time in the last month. So
stressful part of the year.
Oh,
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess I didn't feel it as hard at work, but typically, historically, anywhere where I've worked. Let's just exclude the conversation about where I work right now. It's not included in this thinking or this conversation, but typically, anytime I would go, it was known that I was going to be away for like more than a day, right? Or holidays come up. Everyone wants to like jam their initiatives in last second, well over the formality of the process, which they would mostly not, honor anyways throughout the year. And was unusual for me to experience this a lot around the holidays. So it's like a push and a pull. It's like good and it was bad.
Yeah, the last month has been very busy. I had to switch projects again and finish things for people. It's
Yeah, just becomes a stressful time.
Yep. And losing a dev, so that's kind of sucks.
Oh, that's not good. No.
Yeah. Not as in losing, as in like dying, but like not
on the team anymore.
Not being a member anymore. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that kind of sucks. But such is life, and people change. And that's it's been a rough month, and I hope that things will become a little bit less rough over the next couple of weeks.
Chaotic. Yeah.
So I can actually take that vacation that I wanted to take. Well, not leave and do a vacation outside, but at least not work for a week or something like that. Yeah. Yeah,
I have some vacation time, even though I've been there where I work today for close to half a year. Not exactly. I started in July, so I don't really get that sort of claim to half a year yet. That being the case, I do have a little bit of vacation time, and they only allow you to carry over 40 hours worth of time. So I'm burning off the last week of the year in terms of PTO, but I won't do it. I'll try to reserve not taking time off as much as possible, so that at least I have some little extra time available, in 2022.
What is PTO?
Paid time off.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean that's basically what's going on. So I really have taken a day here or there, and we've had a couple offices closed because of holidays. But outside of that, I really haven't been taking much time off. But it's good, you take a day off here or there, and I think it's I don't know. Usually I feel refreshed by it, so re-energized, I guess. So that's just something I need to do a little more often, myself.
Yeah, it's a rough part of the year.
Yeah, I understand.
Okay, so I just finished the Expanse, book 9. It's the last book in the series, and it's speaking of rough, that was rough to finish. Not as it was bad. It was absolutely 100% good. It was great. It was just it's like you're saying goodbye to a story, and it's it was tough.
Is it the final season?
No, it's not the
final chapter, I should say.
Yeah, it's the final book.
Yeah. Okay.
And they're gonna do another a novella, and that's gonna be it. But it was Interesting read. And then the Expanse season 6 is going to come in next week.
Mm-hmm.
So on
Yeah, I
Friday.
saw that. I would just look that up. Yeah.
So by the time this episode goes out, it will be 3 weeks ago.
Look,
I know you make the joke every single time on OG. I have heard
well, you're going
have
to be
heard
in the
them.
wig category because we haven't really been doing any ATS recordings. I don't know, somewhere around I don't know, September or something. I was just like, I need some time back in my weekend. And it's not like we have naturally like a dozen topics to hit. So you're in the win category. I mean, whatever time of the month it'll show up. Question is whether it's before Christmas or not.
Well, we'll be out before Christmas. I think I'm gonna edit it this week, so should be
Oh,
fine.
okay. Yeah, that'd be cool.
So should be out before the season 6 drops. I hope.
Okay.
If nothing gets in my way. So yeah, that was yeah. It's I don't know. So you've seen season 5, right?
Yeah, I saw season 5. The one thing I haven't done is I haven't gone back and rewatched any of the seasons. So, I'm familiar with it as much as I watched it, like whenever it last was airing, I guess, which would have been about last year. So, the details will come back when I start seeing, recap and whatnot.
I think there's
for
like a
season
recap
6.
thing on Prime.
Oh, is there? Okay.
So yeah, you should be able to just pick it up where you left off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. Like there's stuff that happens in book 9 that is I have no idea how they're going to turn this into a movie or an episode. So yeah, it's just
Are the seasons matching the books? Where does the season where does
so
season 6
so
fit
from what I
in?
understand is that they're going to do season 5 was really matched up with book 5.
Mm-hmm.
And season 6 is supposed to match up with book 6, but there's some stuff from another novella in there, so that I already know about. So the alien little thing that you see in the trailer, that's from a novella. And if you hear the word "strange dog" in conversation, then you know what it's about. So yeah, it was it's going to be a good season. I just hope that they do finish it, because the final 3 books have been like I didn't like book 5 and 6, right? I didn't like them as much because mostly what happens, and there's like too much around it. There's not enough sci-fi. There's more interpersonal stuff in season 5. And there's probably going to be in season 6 because that's what the book was about. The books were about.
Mm-hmm.
Although there was some backdrop of like science fiction. But the book 7, 8, and 9 are more alien stuff. Right? So there's more alien stuff happening. And that's I think that would be more interesting, because season 1 there was like all the proto-molecule stuff, and like season 2 there were the kids that were getting was that season 2 or was it season 3, and then the ring, and then the planet stuff for a season, which was also kind of good. But then 5 is mostly just somebody angry at their former spouse. Basically, somebody angry enough to throw rocks at a planet.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, now it's all coming back to me. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Spoiler alert.
Marco. Yeah.
I'm gonna try to go through season 1 to 5 in the next week, which means that I'm gonna be, as soon as I'm done with work, turn on The Expanse, watch season 1 to 5 in the next couple of days.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I'm going to be doing that after we're done with recording.
Oh boy. That's a lot of time. That's a lot of
to be
hours. That's
ready
a lot of
for season 6.
reason. Okay, got it.
Because now I know how it ends. So it's just
You're looking for all those things you missed the
no,
first
actually,
time,
for all the things that I read that are going to show up.
right?
So, because I think from what I've seen, I think this is an Amazon thing. Maybe that Amazon is trying to get rid of it because it's costing too much, or like it cost too much and then it didn't get enough viewers. But I doubt that because there's like a lot of fans out there. Um, we of course we don't get stats for like that show. Just like we don't get any stats from like other uh, streaming services. Like we don't know how many people watched Shang-Chi or The Widow.
Well, we don't, but they do.
Yes, but like it would be kind of cool to see that because you do get viewing figures for like TV stuff,
Hmm.
right?
Well, like, so I remember Tina Fey was talking about 30 Rock, and she was, in some interview, and it must have been in its final season, whatever it was, so she wasn't, like, tight-lipped, but she commented on where it was never a winner for the network from the sort of the rating system, the typical TV rating systems for over-the-air. But it was the numbers were very big for online, right? Watching online or watching via Netflix or whatever. And she's remarked something about, well, why don't we count for that? And they say, oh no, we disregard that stuff. We don't care about that stuff. Now, I think today's world, that had been probably that sort of when I heard that. And today, it's got to be more than 5 years. So, I mean, we're living in a world where now all these companies care about their online streaming presence and what those numbers look like.
Yeah.
So,
What was it called? Peacock.
NBC is now doing their thing
What
called
was the other?
Peacock.
It was called different before, right? It was something plus.
Oh, I don't know about that. I don't know what it was then.
No, before this, they changed the name to Peacock recently, and then now it's something different again. Paramount Plus now.
No, that's different. That's CBS All Access changed to Paramount Plus because then they, I guess, did a deal with Paramount, the movie company.
Okay. I'm
who
so
also has
confused.
some, did TV. They also, I guess, produced TV stuff like a lot of the Star Trek stuff.
Yeah, the
Right.
Discovery stuff is not going to show up on Netflix anymore, so that's going to be a bummer.
For me, that was never the situation.
No, but it was for everybody outside of the
yeah.
U.S. So
I pay for Paramount Plus via Amazon, so it shows up as a channel along with all my Amazon stuff. So that's how I watch Discovery.
yeah, I recently restarted Disney Plus to get to watch some of those new movies because I heard that Shang-Chi was on there.
Yeah, Shang-Chi's on there. Hawkeye is there.
I'm not that interested in Hawkeye. I
I mean,
hear it's actually pretty good.
yeah.
So I'm gonna try it, but like it's not my kind of thing.
I could never understand what the value add of him as a character was. I don't know the comics, so like for me, I don't really know much about Hawkeye.
No, it's the same thing as like. Have you watched the Widow movie?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So
Yeah.
there's some comments about that it's insane that she was just in there with like like the zappy bracelets and stuff. So, like it's just silly that those two characters were even there with like gods,
Yeah.
right? So it's like,
So, I mean, that being said, I don't mind the show. We're getting sort of character depth, right, about him, and you get to see some of the things what makes him. But I mean, we're not really getting his any kind of like super backstory or anything. We're just getting
I do
him
have to
as sort
say
of a
that
spawned off character.
I did love Loki. It was a very good show.
Loki
I
was
loved it.
very good. But also, Loki was a primary important character with relationship to Thor and the Avengers in the MCU, like very crucial and very important. Loki is very good. Hawkeye is not that same kind of level of show. What are the interconnections between everything in the MCU and I haven't heard a lot of analysis. I just haven't been looking for it. Um, I don't know. We'll find out, right? I'm sure there are some things in there that are worthy of our time once we understand the connections later.
Yeah, I just hope that like they keep the humor in there because like with all these movies, even with like especially with Shang-Chi, there was a lot of humor in there. Um, Although, you know, some of it was a bit misplaced. Like I didn't like uh, some of the stuff in there. There was a lot of like, oh look, we're doing social media stuff, right? And that was kind of forced. But there was like that's always with like these type of movies, and with like all the Marvel movies, there's like lots of humor in there, right? And I think that what makes it different from like DC, because
Mm-hmm.
DC they try to do that at some points, but it's like where the Marvel stuff sometimes misses a little bit. Like DC is just completely like the opposite direction.
No, I mean DC was probably the first to jump on Hollywood, sort of turning their franchises into movies, and it follows sort of the Hollywood format for action movies, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is just dark and dangerous and right and just on straight edge in that
Yeah, but like
respect.
if you look at it, like those Batman movies with Christopher Nolan, who directed those movies
Mm-hmm.
with what's his face, American Psycho.
Oh
uh,
yeah, yeah, that guy.
so like those were good. They were great. I love those movies. Kind of missed kind of missed out on with Heath Ledger, but because he's no longer with us.
Mm-hmm.
But like that could have been great if he came back for another movie,
Mm-hmm.
because that Joker was just really good.
He was psychotic.
Yep, 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 yep.
Yeah. I mean, I would say if you go back to the Tim Burton one, the first Batman movie of more like later years, which kind of rebooted the sort of Batman franchise in terms of movies. Um, with respect to that, there was definitely a lot of humor in that. It was
Hmm.
more of a like a ballet of little scary, little weird, little dangerous, a little
The, the,
humor.
the Tim Burton movie is like a lot weird.
It's very weird.
It's
Yeah,
like it's like Oompa Loompa level weird.
yeah. It's very Tim Burton.
Yep. the There was another thing I wanted to say about this. Yeah, the bat nips. So they've
Oh
hit and
yeah,
missed some
okay,
movies. So
yeah.
yeah.
Well, anyhow, but the reason to mention this was at all is that DC was very straight edge in their production of these things, where MCU. Okay, so in Marvel's case, they didn't. They had a couple like that other people sort of adopt, like Spider-Man, for example, adopt movie studios adopt
Yeah, because they didn't
their
have the
their
rights.
franchises, right? Yeah. So when they finally got their shit together later in life, they made it their own, and they didn't do that straight edge thing. They made
Mm.
good movies that were relevant for the storylines, relevant for the fans, and they had fun at the same
Mm.
time, right? And
Everything
that's
after
very much the difference, right?
it started with Iron Man, because everything before that is like pretty bad.
Yeah, I didn't watch half the Hawk reboots.
The what?
Hawk, they had like one Hawk movie that was pretty bad, and I sort of blipped on it and didn't watch it. And they had another Hawk movie with Ed
Hawk?
Norton. Hawk, the Hawk, Hulk.
Nope. Never heard of it.
Not the big green guy
The
gets
Hulk. Okay.
Hulk. Yeah,
I thought you said Hawk.
no, not Hawk, Hulk.
Hulk. Yeah, but the L was like was suppressed. Perhaps it's because it was a bad movie.
Yeah, yeah.
It
I
didn't
mean,
deserve the name.
there was a bunch of them, and people are like, "Oh, did you see the thing with it?" And I'm like, "No, I knew that it was going to be a bad movie. I got that sort of by spidey sense, tingling. I was like, no, not going to watch it. And
Yeah,
then
but
I
for the
heard it was a
second
bad
Hulk
movie.
movie, they did have Robert Downey Jr. in the post credits, right?
Well, I'm not talking about the one with Thor and Bruce Banner together. That was
No,
a
no,
good
no. I
movie.
meant the first, the second of the bad Hulk movies
I
with
don't
the.
with Edward Norton.
I think so.
I don't know that I watched it, so I don't even
Okay,
know.
okay. So at the end, there's like a with that general. What's his face? He shows up later in the movies,
Okay.
and like there's Iron Man or Tony Stark at the end.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Anyway, I watched Shang Chi.
Yeah, me
That
too.
was fun.
This is a good movie.
I liked it. Very
Yeah.
entertaining. I love the fights. They were actually pretty good. Although there was the obligatory giant battle at the end, it wasn't as predictable as it mostly is. So that was good. So
I have
then what?
one of my links has a little spoiler there that sort of analyzes a moment about it that
Oh
I
yeah,
thought
yeah,
was
yeah,
interesting. So
yeah. I watched those. Yeah. Did you watch the Black Widow movie?
yeah, I mean a while ago.
What do you think of it?
I mean I saw it a while ago, so I only saw it once. I don't know if I rent or bought it. I don't even know. I didn't mind it. Obviously there's some stuff going on at the end, right?
Yeah,
So
this was another one of those big battles at the end where everything explodes.
yeah. So I we'll see where was it Irina? We'll see where what happens from there. I thought she was going to show up in Hawkeye. I didn't. She hasn't. So I'm waiting. I don't know why I'm waiting. I'm just assuming she's going to show up there. I'm just looking for Hawkeye's sort of level of importance and relationship to having his own series. So.
Yeah.
And
Well, I
so
don't know.
if that is sort of the formula, then I wonder if they're doing one for Black Widow.
I doubt it.
I mean, they did a movie for her, and then they should have closed her off.
No, she
Um,
was closed off in a previous episode.
well, yeah, she was. Yes, she was literally. Let's phrase that closed off in one of the big movies. Yes, that is true. That's
Yeah.
a sticking point. Um,
Pretty final.
yeah. Hmm. Yeah, and then
Um,
also pretty final in her movie as well.
there was I saw a video recently. I think it was yesterday even. Like of was it Endgame or was the one before? What's the one before
I don't
that?
keep them. I don't keep the names of them in sequence, so I really don't know.
Like one of the big final movies. Like where the snap basically at the
Right?
end.
Yeah, I got it.
So
Yeah.
and that was they played the song from Neon Genesis over it. C'est comme si c'était.
Hmm.
They played it over. It fit really well. It was like, hey, yeah, it kind of makes sense with this. Yeah. So Rai is being the big purple dude. Yeah, it was pretty funny. I should have linked it in this. If I can, I'll put it in the links for the show notes. It was pretty funny. I'll send it to you later. So you got a some new hardware for your PC?
I mean, I bought. Oh well, we didn't really mention the gimbal. So I bought so June. I think it's June. They sort of got in the business of making gimbals, like multi-axis gimbals, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I had bought years ago, because it was like maybe not even $200. It was like $130 or something, and the problem is anything at that time you buy any kind of multi-access, gimbal, they're like thousands of dollars and they're big rigs and they're just, and they're meant for big DLSR cameras that were meant for lightweight devices, and then there was a bunch of sort of crappy, inexpensive knockoff ones for phones and stuff like that. And you could still spend $500 for a good, reasonably good uh, gimbal multi-axis, like 3-axis at least, a 2 or 3-axis gimbal for your smartphone. And June came out with something called the Smooth. I think I got the Q2 or something like that. And I used it a couple times, and it's pretty good. And it has lots of little nifty things you can do with it, integrating that with your smartphone. And so, but I hadn't had much need to use it, right? And now smartphones are getting to a point where they're really good for limited use cases for video. Okay. So that being the case, then I saw something come up again, holiday time, and it was under $400, and I was already very happy with that Smooth. But this one was, in theory, it's meant to be used with like your mirrorless cameras. You could use some full frame sensor cameras and stuff like that. And so I bought that, and I was letting it charge. I was trying to calibrate it last night. It was not. I try to, like, well, how the hell do I hook up my smartphone? So like I have a bunch of those like pretty good high quality clamps and stuff you use for your
Mm-hmm.
smartphone. So I rigged that stuff up, but I couldn't get it to calibrate. So I haven't really put that to use. So yeah, I'm sort of jumping in a topic point about the June
How do you spell
Crane
that name?
M3. That's a good question. Here, hold on. June. Okay, hold on. I'm going to have to open up an app to spell for you. It's ZHI. Okay, hold on. Now you went away. I just ran the app. Come on, man. Okay, hold on. I'll have to find that for you. I don't. I don't know how to. Give me a sec. Thought this would be easy, but no. You had to ask. Can I find?
Ziyiun.
Okay, whatever you just said, that's probably correct. I did not absorb. I was looking at my screen trying to like get into the open up the store. Let me open up the store. There we go.
So you
Oh
bought
no.
the Smooth Q2.
Yeah, originally, but what I bought recently, which was to my point, I was sort of informing that I was good with the brand, and so that's why I sort of took a, a faith buy on
Uh-oh.
the Crane M3, which is what is capable of holding the weight of DLSRs and mirrorless cameras. It seems like a lot of these YouTubers that do a lot of camera stuff would say you can, but you probably should just use it with your smartphone. So I bought that, and it looks pretty dope. 3-axis gimbal. Though I think I would recommend that you spend an extra $100 if anyone is interested in getting it, and get one with the backpack, or get one with the backpack and the Pro Kit. In hindsight, I probably should have done that. Now this thing is so new, no one has like their alternative cases you can buy. It comes with a
Mm.
case, but I want to be able to add some extra stuff, so I bought some extra batteries with it. But the problem is, those batteries only work with an extended accessory, which you can't buy yet, which is only available in the next. So I bought the standard kit. I didn't buy the whatever the Pro or the Pro Cinema kit or whatever the 3 tiers are. I bought the first tier. I didn't buy the second tier. So I have extra batteries that I can't use with an accessory. I don't have. So anyhow, so I did that, and that was something I got recently, and I'm looking to sort of calibrate it to maybe my actual 60 A6400, and I'll use it with that. So I finally have basically a 3-axis gimbal for my mirrorless,
Mm.
which I didn't have before. I really didn't have anything. I had the glide cam, but that's like, and it's not even motorized, right? It's all, it's just all based on balances, right? So. Okay, so I did that. That was recent. I guess you can catch up with me later to see see how I did with that.
Yeah.
But I was playing with it last night, and I was setting it up, and I was like auto calibrating, and it was fine. And then I wanted to start putting weight on. I was like, nope, can't calibrate, and I hadn't let it charge yet. So I'm hoping that
Oh,
that was
okay.
part of the
So it
problem.
didn't have enough power.
Maybe that's what it was. And the weird thing is, like on the smartphone, aside from the clamp that I use for, getting that wired up onto the plate so that I can use my smartphone with this thing, the smartphone basically, the weight's on the back in terms of its balance, not on the front. Where with a mirrorless camera, this thing was looking to balance itself with a heavy front heavy counterweight, right? So that's why I pulled out my A6400 and I connected everything up, and I at least I got that balanced. But then I couldn't get it to calibrate because again I think I just needed to let it charge.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But I finally bought an actual three-axis gimbal for my camera, so that I can use that with the hopes of that I can use it later.
Yeah.
So.
So if you
Uh,
wanna find out more about the June Crane M3,
yeah.
you can go to Polymatic link/121.
Okay.
On
And
the
then
fly link creation.
yeah, on the fly link creation. Okay, so the where you were trying to lead me into a conversation point was I don't know if it wasn't with you. I recently was having a conversation with somebody, and I realized like I have pretty good surge protectors and a series of surge protectors connected all to the studio equipment, but I was remarking on a story about the Dell docking stations where I burned through a bazillion of them because there was like a power something happened and it fried the dock, and then I bought another one and I bought another one, and in the corner there's probably a stack of three or four that are sort of dead, and I haven't tossed them out yet. Um, and then I finally got smart one day. I'm like, why don't I just buy an APC or UPS or something and connect that guy up, to the computer. So at the very least, if there's a power, you know, blip or something while I'm at work, I won't be burning out the laptop. I won't be burning out anything. And so I finally did that. And when I got the new desktop, I bought an extra one. So I'd sort of chained them in series. So I'm extra smart about it. So, everything is safe upstairs. And then it occurred to me while I was remarking on that with somebody, I was like, why haven't I done that to the studio? So I did.
Can you run everything down there off the?
I would think so. Yeah. I mean, it's really more for protection, but also it's also one of those cases. Let's say I lose power. If we're not all in the same room, obviously, I'm not gonna. If someone's over Zoom or whatever, then yeah, I'm gonna lose their connection when I lose the internet. Um,
But
but
at
at the
least you
very
can close
least, I'll
down the
be able to
session.
shut things down safely and make
Hmm.
sure I didn't lose recordings and stuff like that. So
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Which
and
what?
it also
Which one did
goes
you
with
get?
the idea of making sure that there is, because you sort of naturally get some clean power. It's kind of like if you spend money for a Furman, right? There's lots of filtration on the DC filters so that you don't get sort of frequency noise that makes its way up into your audio gear. I'm betting on that I am getting some of that because it's coming through basically from through the battery system, right? So I bought a Cyber Power, I believe is what I got. I think it's Cyber Power or whatever it is. It's from APC, but I bought the combo that has it's kind of like the one I have upstairs, which is 1,500 watts.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have these at work, but it's like this big, huge surge protector that this one has another 650 watts of battery built in, four out of the eight outlets on, and it looks like a oversized beefy surge protector power strip.
Okay.
So I have those chained together.
Okay, and then you can power everything off that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the board is on the 600 and no the yeah the board is on the 650 watt, and the computer's on the 1500 watt
What about a
UPS.
monitor?
Monitor is on the 1500 watt as well.
Because otherwise it would be hard to do anything.
Stop. Right. Yeah. Figure out what's going on. Well, I had some power outage, I think, this year for like a moment. It was only so some storm was happening, and all of a sudden lights went out. But my desktop upstairs was fine, and I get it because I have two 1500 watts. I have one for audio gear. I guess I did same kind of thing, and then I did one for monitors, and then the other one I did, for the computer and stuff. And so like house went offline, but my system was perfectly fine. So I was like, oh, what did I forgot that I did that.
I should probably
I,
look into that, getting one of those
yeah.
for my art station.
I will tell you that I never connect the USB to whatever some software, and that always causes me headaches, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I just sort of let them run as they are. The only kind of problem I will say that's very annoying is if you lose power and it's just like beep, beep, and you're just like, well, let me just turn it off to save power. You can't turn it back on until there is power back on, on the input side. So you really, the thing is, the idea obviously for me is for me to shut down safely, not to keep using my computer. So, um, so that's the thing I always found annoying about these things is until you have power again, you really can't like, you know, turn on the UPS again and use it. So,
Yeah, I think 750 watt would be more than enough for my needs,
hmm.
because like it's just a PC and there's a tablet and that's about it. Although
Hmm.
the tablet does kind of suck a lot of energy.
Right, yeah. I mean, if you're talking about your I'm blanking on the name of the company.
Wacom.
Yeah, Wacom. I would think that would draw a lot of wattage.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'll be looking into that because I kind of I don't want to lose power, and then although losing power here is not that big of a thing, it
No,
does
but I mean,
happen on
it's just
occasion.
an extra level of protection just in case, you know.
Cut to John loses power middle of the recording.
I'd probably also recommend if you're picking up at least maybe 750 watt, maybe look at picking up one for your NAS or something as well.
Mm.
I mean, the cost when I originally bought that first Cyber Power one cost me like not even $150, right? And those docks at the time when I was buying them, they were like over $200. And so I had bought several of them over the course of time when I had problems, and I was like, I could have just spent $130, stuck that in line in the power system, and then it would have been a non-issue for me. Um, and it
Yeah.
just didn't occur to me. So when I got this one with this new combo, uh, it would have cost me. I don't know what it would have cost me, but I spent about $250 between the for two of them.
Yeah. Well, it also has network ports apparently, so that's good. So
Yeah,
you
I
can
never use network. I never do that. Right. Even on this one that I'm staring at's in the distance is the 650 watt one has like USB stuff on it too.
yeah, but like if I have like a house with like lots of IoT things on it, so it
Mm-hmm.
could be handy to control that with some stuff.
Yeah.
But we'll have to look into what they actually do for this, how their applications and networks and APIs are. So before I actually plug it into anything.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I was saying that as that they offer network. I didn't think it was like I'd have network control over it. I was thinking as they were just sort of an extra way to protect Ethernet line.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, okay. So that okay. Is that what
I
they
don't
do?
think it's I don't think it's a network control. You might be right. I mean, the old days, that's what it was. It would be a phone line or a network. It was just sort of like because especially in office environments, you do power over Ethernet, right? So you could have a surge in there
Yeah.
too.
So from what I can see is that they say it's high speed Ethernet. So
But they don't say that it's a network. It's a NIC in there,
yeah, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just a switch or something.
right? Yeah, I think it's just sort of surge protection over Ethernet.
Which like with the connectors right next to each other. Yeah,
Well,
that's
in
gonna
and
work.
out. So,
Yeah. But it's like, okay, how much is
yeah,
this
I
gonna
know.
protect me?
Right? Is it going to surge? Right? It's. I
Yeah.
mean, there's not that much power coming through that should be arcing. So, well, okay, typically, but if you're having a
Mhm.
surge, I mean, it.
Mhm.
Hopefully, you would think it wouldn't get that far.
Yeah, I'll have to look into this brand. I'll just have to have a good examination.
Mm-hmm.
Could be cool. Um, I haven't actually played many games in the last few weeks. I've played some Stardew
Mm-hmm.
again, so that's good. I've been recording more of my series that I have not published yet or will publish. I don't know. I'm thinking of like dropping it all at once or putting it on a release schedule for 2022 in starting in April.
Hmm.
Like start from spring and then release one episode um, every few days. So yeah, I kind of like the whole episodic like one day is one episode. I
Mm-hmm.
made a mistake where I recorded the first episode and then the second and the third as one. So the first episode is one episode and the two and three is one episode because I didn't stop playing after like the day. It's like yeah. So now what I
Oh,
do is I
yeah.
just
The
record
days
a
go.
day and then I go do something else after that day. So I do some chore in the house and so I can
Oh,
break it
got
up
it.
more for
Yeah,
myself.
I do some version of that where I do my normal routine stuff. I took um you were talking about you had said some things I guess the last time we talked, so I that turned around and I got or I upgraded to deluxe coupe, so now I don't have to be there to collect everything or feed everybody. Right, so I'm now at that level where the barns are just sort of handling, or the coops, and they're just sort of handling themselves. So I come in and I give the animals affection, and then if I feel like it for that day, I'll go through and I'll grab the eggs or grab the milk or whatever it
I
is and
think you
start
can
making
get an
cheese.
auto petter so you don't even give them affection
Is
anymore.
there an auto petter? Oh,
Yeah, there is.
oh, okay. I'll have to go back to Marnie and see if there's
I don't know
any.
if it's I don't know if
Or
it's
not
from
Marnie, it's
I think Marnie
Robin.
sells it at some point, or you get it from the traveling
Oh,
merchant.
maybe. Okay.
But I know that you can buy it at Jojo Mart,
Oh, okay. So
but you don't want to buy there.
I had never bothered with the membership, so I've never done that at
You
all.
don't want to
Right.
because they'll mess you up.
Right, it will mess you up from, I guess, even if you complete the community center, because the whole point is that's, they want to take over the community center, right? Is that's part of the storyline. So
Yep,
I never bothered. So
you're good.
yeah, and that guy is sort of very creepy, anyways,
Yeah.
that character. That being said, so I don't obviously I have the auto feeder, I have the auto grabber. So those are good between the barn and the coop. So I come in, I'll sweep through, I'll give them affection. I'll I'll grab stuff. I typically have a bunch of mayo machines outside of the coop, so I just make a lot of stuff. I was able to close a couple things. Actually, finally last night, I was able to get a purple mushroom because I got sort of chopped down a mushroom, one of those mushroom stalks, and then it gave me a purple mushroom out of nowhere. So I went ahead and I'm not 100% completed on the community center. I still have the fish tank, which is going to be a problem for me. And then I have the bulletin board that
It,
is
it
almost done. I have to get Dimitri a chub, so that will conclude that. So
well, the
I got
bulletin
the
board stuff you don't really need to do, Great. So the most important part is like getting the community center done, and then the stuff opens up for you because then you can go to the. There's another island you can go to. Um, you need to go to the desert mine to get some stuff for that. So
Oh, okay, right. All right, I didn't really go in there. I have been trying to hit each level as much as fast as possible, meaning I'm not completely exploring each of the mine levels. What I'm doing is I'm just getting to the stairs again, the ladder, and I'm going
well, if
down.
you have a lot of stone, you can also just make stairs.
Oh, right. Yeah, that is true. I forgot about
You can
that.
just get to level 100 and then just start farming stuff.
Oh, okay. So I didn't. I've been just been sort of
So if you're
discovering.
level 80, just build yourself 40 stairs and you're done.
Right. Yeah. So I
That's
think
gonna be
I'm
that's I think that's gonna be 4,000 stone. But
right.
if you just have a few on you, if you can get to the next level, 5 levels lower, then you can just
Hmm.
get that done.
I what do I have? I have I'm either 75 or I might be close to 80. I got to 80. So I got the dark sword.
Okay.
So I got that recently. I didn't even realize I got it. I got the bone sword. So I killed some skeletons
If
enough.
you have a prismatic shard, don't use it. If you have two, you can use it for one for the community center and one for the sword in the desert.
Yeah, so I used one of the first time I got a prismatic shard. First time I used it.
And what did you use it
Didn't
for?
I don't recall.
Did you donate it to the museum?
I don't know if I donated it. I don't know if I used it on the community center because I again it I all I have left is the fish tank and a fish for Dimitri for the bulletin board. So if there was the prismatic shard was to be used in the community center at some
Oh,
point, then I might have used it already. But I
the
have not found a second one.
okay. So the bulletin board. You mean the one outside Pierre's,
No,
below the mayor's house?
no, in the community center.
Oh, that one. Okay, so
Yeah, I'm not talking about the
there's
one
actually
near the
there's three
beach.
bulletin boards.
Right. So I know there's the one outside Pierre's. I know there is also one near the beach, right,
Mm-hmm.
towards the blacksmith and the library. And then there's the one that is for to complete all those things, all the
Yeah.
bundles
Okay.
inside the community center. So I was talking about that one. So I need a chub for Dimitri's bulletin board item there. Um, and fish have been a problem for me, so I got
Just
to figure out how to get
as soon
good.
as you like start doing it, like it gets much easier very fast.
I can't control the it's either too much or too little. And I
Don't keep it click. Just start clicking.
just keep clicking forever and just
Just
keep it
keep clicking to keep it in the same range. The longer
well
you press, the harder your movement's going to be. So the more momentum you have. If you click a couple of times, you just keep it at the same level.
oh okay, got it. So I hadn't figured out what that pattern is yet. So that's my point. I hadn't
Okay.
gotten good at that. I can get it sometimes and then I just can't and so I just sort of I'm not carrying my fish pole anymore. Like that's I just take it out. It's not in my inventory. It's in the chest at home. So
Yep.
because I can't win that one. Just I don't know. I haven't been good at
Should
it.
definitely
So
try.
yeah.
I'm
But
still in year one. I've got a lot of the stuff already completed.
oh, so I'm on multiple years. So
Yeah.
but again, this is the first one. I didn't like create a new game or anything like that.
Hmm.
So and you've been playing it for a while, so you know all the things. So I don't. I'm not. I'm just not coordinated
Yeah, I
at
got,
that
got it on
level.
the Switch, so some things are different.
Mm-hmm.
But like most of the gameplay stuff is, but like the fishing on the Switch is a little bit harder
Yeah.
than on the PC.
So I can kill the skulls pretty the floating head and skulls or whatever pretty easily, but then I still recently I was like battling three or four of them and they got me. So and I've been using I bought a bunch of what's his name's energy tonics or whatever.
Hmm. Just use food. As soon as you upgrade your house, you can go into the basement and age cheese. And as soon as you
That's
have
I do.
unlocked
I
that,
have a lot of what they call those casts or whatever. I filled that whole basement up basically,
yeah. So
and one
use that
side of it,
cheese. Don't sell it.
don't sell it, use it.
Well, you can sell, but like if you make a lot of cheese for your adventures, you can use that cheese because it gives a lot of energy and a lot of health.
Oh,
So
really?
yeah.
Okay. So what I've been doing is on the outside near the barn for where the goat and the basically the cows are. Anything that isn't orange star, isn't like highest quality. I keep in a chest out there, and I just sort of grind on making cheese there.
If you put that stuff in the
The cast, yeah,
in the
I know
cast, it
it
ages, and
will.
then you can get it as um, what's the name of that other metal?
Oh, iridium,
Iridium.
iridium.
Yeah,
Oh, really?
yeah.
Okay, because I've been running out of that because I was only able to get
No,
that
no, no.
stuff out of
You
the
get the
quarry.
level of like this. It's nothing. No star, silver star, gold star, iridium,
Oh, interesting.
or whatever the name of the metal is.
Okay.
So, and that's the best cheese you can get.
Okay. Well, so the gold star, right? So what I do is then I keep the gold star milk and goat milk, and I bring that into the house, and then I have two cheese makers that I run that on,
Oh,
and
okay.
then what
So
I do is,
you haven't got the basement yet.
oh no, I have the basement. I have
Okay,
the basement. Plus, I have the spare room that's also not a basement,
so
but
there's casks
isn't.
in your basement.
Yes, and I've built a bunch of them. I've filled the whole thing up. So
Yeah,
right now, what I'm doing
they're
is
different casks than the ones you use for brewing.
right. Yeah, I'm not talking about kegs, and I'm not talking about the pickling jam
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
things. Right. I'm clear on that.
So you toss the cheese in there.
Yeah, I'm aware of that. I did that once, but it takes forever.
Yeah,
So
so
what
you
I
have
did is
some cooking for a while, and then you get
yeah.
the really good cheese.
So which I what I did is I have 10 kegs down there, and I have 79 casks that I filled that room up with.
Oh, that's good.
And then on the other side of the house where it's not really technically a basement, but you go down, I filled. I have 16 additional kegs. I have at least 12 pickling jam things, and I have three other ones. So the one near the
Fill it all up with the barrels in the basement. So the basement barrels, they need to be there. They need to stay there because you cannot put them upstairs.
I know you can't use them
Okay,
anywhere else.
so
Yeah,
the
no,
kegs don't go there. Fill them all up with those barrels.
yeah, and I thought about doing that. So because I just have this like pickling operation right going. Um, so I have a set of that outside. I have a set inside, but because I put a lot of the chests for the fruit and all that stuff inside, so that additional auxiliary basement area, I'm processing a lot of fruit wines, and then in the greenhouse I have a whole set of grapevines and hops going, so I can go through there, sweep through there, and get a ton of hops. I have like nearly 1,000 hops or whatever to process in the kegs. Then I get beer from that. And that's sort of my beer operation. And on the sort of auxiliary one, that's my fruit, what's my wine operation for the most part. Then I collect up all the wine into the cellar, and then I'm processing all those right now in the casks in the cellar.
Oh,
And then I was selling. So I have them all in sync right now. I wait it out. They're all done, so they'll all show up at once. I'll go through, and then I'll probably do cheese this next upcoming round, and then go back
mm.
and I'll do wine, and then I'll just keep cycling them through because I have a lot of cheese. I have goat milk, I have goat cheese, and I have like normal cheese. So
Mm.
I sort of have an operation in the house and out of the house. So that's kind of what I've been doing. And I go over
Alan
to the greenhouse and
is pickling his cheeses.
you can't pick all the cheeses. I don't think.
I know.
Yeah. And what was it? Oh, because I concluded some of the stuff in the community center, I now have the void chicken,
Oh yeah, okay. You can also get them from.
the witch or whatever showed up one night and gave me, that was like, after I make the mine carts are operational now, which is
Yeah.
great. I love that. So I have that going, and then so I basically created a void. I created a void chicken from one of the eggs, and then what I've been doing is I'm stockpiling, starting to stockpile some void mayo and the eggs right now. I'm not selling them.
Yeah,
Um,
don't eat the void mayo.
I was more of to maybe sell it or something. I don't know what I'm
Yeah,
doing.
you can give them if you want to get friends with Krobus. You can get it. Give him the void mayo.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then I'll do that. Um, so anyhow, I sort of been,
Deep deep
per your
deep
commentary, I leveled up a lot of stuff.
deep dive into Stardew.
Yeah. So that's what I've been doing. And it's more of a grind thing, and then with the mine carts, I'll head over to the mines, and I've been trying to get down to, how far does it go? Is 100 the max?
120,
Oh, 120.
and
Okay.
you get star fruit at the end.
Oh, okay. Well, I've had the star fruit before. I basically make them in
No. This is like you get
the star drop
extra
fruit.
health. Star drop, yeah.
Yeah. So we had, I guess it's the fall. So we had our where the Grange display thing. So I
Yeah,
bought
yeah, yeah.
a star drop fruit from the from whatever the
The
shop.
vendor, yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, so I might have had it one time in the early time when I didn't know what I was doing. I probably had it once. Then I also provided that to the weird guy in the secret garden. So I got one there, and then I guess this is the third time.
Oh, you don't
So,
give a star drop to that guy.
no, you don't. You give him
Star fruit.
star fruit.
Gem barrier, I think. I don't remember.
Something. You give him something. I think it's a star fruit, and then he gives you the star drop fruit, which is you don't just get it. You have to, you're given it and you eat it, and it increases your health.
Yeah.
So
So there's another one at the end of that mine. I think there's another one on the island. There's possibly another one. I don't
hmm,
know.
yeah. What does in the adventure house, the little
Oh, if
guy
you
in the
lose your
corner?
stuff, you can buy back your stuff.
Yeah, I got that. No, it's the other guy who's in the rocking chair. He's like, "Oh, come back when you give have something interesting." What is he looking for?
You need to kill more beasties.
Okay.
So there's a chart on the right side of the desk,
Oh, I didn't notice that.
and you can look it up. How much you still have to do?
Oh, okay. So I'll do that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this is how I learn stuff, and then it becomes more meaningful and fun again, because there's lots of little things to unlock, and I just you don't know about them if you just don't know about them. So
Have you played
I
any Animal Crossing recently?
no,
The
I since we
2.0
last
came out.
okay. So is there a December update now?
No, there's no more updates after this.
Oh, okay. Um,
So there's still going to be like the seasonal stuff, but there's not going to be any more updates for the main
mm-hmm,
game. They made a new expansion. Like there's a new DLC.
mm-hmm.
They called Animal Crossing 2.0,
Right. Okay.
and then there's the Happy House stuff. So there's like you make vacation homes for some of your villagers and
Mm-hmm.
other people. And yeah, I haven't bought it yet. I don't know if
Mm-hmm.
I will because I don't really have the time to play it anyway.
Yeah, I think it's been, if I'm playing, it's one or two games that I'll play, and then that is sort of towards the end of my day, and then that sort of lets my brain sort of release and say, okay, I can go to sleep now. I've computed a bazillion things right now, so I'm good. I'm good, right? And that's kind of how I use Stardew, or how I was using Minecraft, or Battle Polytopia. So that's kind of how
Yeah.
I use that. Let me ask one question before I forget, which I'm now starting to forget. Oh, I put a extra house because I didn't know what the option was, but I bought one of those cabins from Robin.
Sheds. Yeah.
So I put an extra one, and who moves in? Does Grandpa come back or something? That's like
No, that's
okay, because
if you want to do a multiplayer.
oh, okay, got it. So I didn't know what that was for.
So
I
if
assume it was
you
probably
can
for
open up
co-op.
your, I think you can open up your playthrough to multiplayer, and then you can have somebody visit there basically and
Okay.
play with you.
Is there any value added for me putting more than one cabin?
Unless you want more people, I think max is 4.
Okay. I mean, I got lots of room on the farm, and basically, I got the coops grinding. I got some trees happening, and I have the mine with the bats, or sorry, the cave with the bats, and I have the the greenhouse. So like,
Yeah.
in terms of all that extra land, it's basically just filled up with trees that I just need to like spend days knocking all down and cleaning up.
So if you need some help, you can drag me over.
I know you want to. I know you've
I can
been
help you figure some stuff out.
yeah. I can turn co-op mode on. I just haven't. So is this one of those things like when I jump in, it's not like I want to make my whole night out of it. You know what I mean? It's
Uh
like I
huh.
just want to do a handful of things and then be satisfied and be done. So
I don't
like I
do
don't
that
want to.
either. It's like I play 20 minutes. I think it's a day.
Yeah. So
20 minutes
the
is a
days
day.
for me go by so fast in the game. So.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we talked about Stardew.
Stardew. Like
That's a thing. This
we
week's
should
show about
we should do the
starfruit.
get that intro from OG and say the part of the show we talk about Stardew for half of the show.
Yeah, I have it. I see the button in front of me. I
No,
have the
don't
spoilers
do it.
button.
Don't do it.
Well, you couldn't hear. I mean, you might be able to hear it, but it's not in our recorded tracks. So,
Yeah.
um, but
Okay.
anyhow, okay. So we talked about that way too much.
Okay. I've got some gifting recommendations actually.
Okay. I know you
Actually,
talked about the minnows before, right?
yeah. Okay. So we already did that.
You said that was a good idea. So that's the weird thing is that as being sort of a lead, I hadn't figured out what gifts to get like the team. But the thing is that I don't have like a team of 5 or 6 like I had in the past. Like no, I have like a team of like 12.
Yeah, I bought. I think about 10 of the minnows. I think
Hmm.
I have bought since a couple more of the makos, and I've sent to people. Yeah, so I bought like 10 of the 10 of the minnows, and I bought a moray for myself for in my backpack,
Mm-hmm.
and I have a uh, uh, another one of the makos in my workshop, and I bought a couple of makos for some friends
Hmm.
across the world. So yeah, they're good kits. I really like them. They're really nice. So yeah,
Yeah,
and
I hadn't figured out what I'm doing there yet. And
the
again,
minnows,
like I said, I got to do it at least
right,
by
really nice
10.
price because like for $100 you get 10 basically. I don't know what their cost. No, I bought 140 euros worth. So yeah, so for 140 euros you have 10.
Hmm. Okay.
So yeah, we're wrapping up the year. Goodbye
Yeah.
2021. I am happy to see you go. I'm very much looking forward to 2022, where I get to have the same freaking problems. So yeah,
Yeah.
fun times.
Well, we'll see what 2022 looks like. I'm hoping to do some things. We'll see what that turns out. So,
I have some plans to change some things around. So it's going to be an interesting year next year.
hmm.
Some pretty heavy stuff that I want to do, like break things, basically. So that's good.
Okay. We'll
Good way
take
to
that
change.
conversation outside of the recording.
2022. Here we go.
There we go.
Okay, we get some fun stuff. Um,
We do.
I
You do.
have the first one. Related to the end of the year, the story of Festivus, Polymatic link slash 11F. That's
Mm-hmm.
from uh,
Seinfeld.
Seinfeld. Oh,
Hmm.
yeah. It's a good one.
Okay. What do I have? Oh, so a lot of these, I think all but one are TikToks for
Yeah,
me.
I know. I
But
noticed.
this is one of I seen. I don't know if this is particular you know person, but I've seen a couple of these where they have really interesting sort of perspectives with like smartphones or with cameras of how like take some pictures. So thought this was pretty interesting. I thought you might be interested in it. Photography tricks is what I'm naming it. Polymatic.link/11Q.
Okay, what's next? Soldering stations from Thomas Sandlander. I keep mispronouncing his name. Anyway, Polymatic link slash 11G. It's basically just a bunch of different types of levels of soldering irons from like the really cheaper but also very good um, pencil style um, with the cartridges
Mm-hmm.
soldering irons, and they're really good. Um, I've got the TS100, and I've really enjoyed soldering with it so far, so that's good.
Yeah, I mean,
And
as an adult, I really haven't been soldering. So when I was a kid, I bought something like out of Radio Shack, and it's funny because there's a lot of these like power controllable voltage regulators on all these things that he's reviewing, and I didn't have that. It literally was from the soldering iron to the power cord, and it was basically whatever 20 watt or 15 watt or 5 watt, whatever the wattage was just sort of fixed on the thing. There was no like replaceable cartridge or anything like that for me. So I mean, it's possible I just got a junky, soldering iron. I have a fear that it's probably sitting in my bin of Legos, where as a kid I just tossed everything into it, and I fear that it's just sitting in there. And it's been sitting in there for like 20 years. But yeah, I'd never had any kind of advanced, fancy soldering station or iron or anything like that.
now I know what to get you next year.
I mean, I don't solder, so I don't. It's not a thing I do. Um,
Well, sometimes
yeah,
if you like need to make like a plug, hook up a new fix a cable or something like that, right? So
yeah.
like you can shorten a cable and reattach the connector or
It's
something
also
like that.
possible that my skills were not great because I had a pretty crappy soldering iron. That's very possible.
Yeah.
So, but my skills were okay, right, with that stuff.
It's always
He,
always nice to have good tools.
yeah,
Always nice
yeah,
to get good tools too.
yeah.
So that's why I think I sent out. I just got 2 of the Makos in just
Hmm.
now, so I'm gonna be sending out more tools and stuff in the next couple of weeks for Christmas. Anyway,
Moving on. So I call this skip intro. This is a feature you need with me.
yep,
Polymatic.link 11R.
I need a button called Skip Tangent.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That'd be good.
I'm pushing, but nothing happens. Okay, another video from Nal Red. Vaporizing hot dogs in acid. Polymatic link slash 11H. This is the same stuff that periodic channel video thingy is doing. They have the same, I think they have the same solution. So Polymatic link slash 11H is called Piranha Solution.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
It seemed familiar when I saw it. So
It looks disgusting.
of course, yes. And first thing, don't drink that because then
Don't
you'll
don't
turn
watch
into that.
if you go to periodic videos. Don't watch the one with the chicken.
Oh God, I don't know. I will not.
Chicken legs.
Nope.
Not good.
Will
Nope.
not. Okay, moving on. Something less gross. So I happen to, I just, of course, TikTok must be listening. I was started to watch this guy because there's like a show this particular chef has on Netflix. It's like a game show, one of those like The Great Bake Off or something like that kind of show. But he also has a TikTok where he's highlighting his TikToks. This guy makes amazing things out of chocolate. Anything that looks realistic, you can eat. So this is all chocolate. It's clear that it's not real, but it's still fairly impressive. And if you're interested in seeing more of his TikToks, you can just check out his videos. But Polymatic.link/11s. Again, like I said, that's all chocolate. Very impressive.
Okay. Tiny soldering iron. Polymatic link /11i. So
I know what's on your mind.
Yeah, no, this is Big Clive, and he has like lots of these like eBay gadget stuff that he buys and takes apart. So, and this is basically just a vape with a soldering iron attached to it. So yeah, Polymatic link /11i.
Okay, so I again also on TikTok I discovered this is the video that I saw of hers where I was like, all right, let me see what this person's about. But she cosplays, but she also makes big cosplays. So I just labeled this as amazing cosplayer. Allison, I think is her first name. Polymatic.link/11t. There are several videos that are, I guess, to get your attention about the cat bust that she made. But there is definitely one, if you dig down there far enough, where she shows you how she made it and what it's made up of and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's very impressive. So
yeah, cat bus.
yeah, the cat bus, the one from Rick and Morty. What was the other one? Oh, she has the thing from Aliens, the Walker. Yeah.
So I thought you would have remembered her name because it's the same last name as yours.
Oh, is it? Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Didn't know that.
Anyway, so Polymatic link /11t for that one. Then I have Bubble Clock 11. So Polymatic link /11j for that one.
Yeah, this is not practical, but it's neat.
Yep.
I would figure that if
it's
they
similar to the way like those water displays work, where they drop the water with the droplets and then they control when the droplets fall. It's very similar, but the bubbles go up.
Right. So
You've
in
seen
this
those
case,
fountains, right?
I would have thought it would have been simple or easier for them to do a 1 than the way they're doing the 1.
Yeah, that was weird.
And yeah, I thought that was weird. And then the other thing is, it would be nice if and again, obviously you can see there's clearly lots going on just to make that work. But if he just had 5 of them in a row, he could do actual time instead of sort of in a sequence eventually.
I think getting the 1 to work is going to be a problem because it's going to be a very long column of air, and then the air just rushes out at the end.
Oh, maybe.
So that might be the reason why.
But I mean, he's still pacing it, right? So like boom, boom, boom. It has independent bubbles in there. So I mean, all he needs to run is 5 in that sequence or 4 in that sequence or something, I would think.
Yep.
So, all right. Right. Around it goes. Okay. So, just try not to reveal what this was about. I thought it was interesting. I mean, I'm not surprised by this works the way it works. It just sort of, it goes around instead of it, and it's basically reading as it goes instead of, spinning and reading. So Polymatic.link/11u. I don't know if that was part of some like promotional, because you can see it says Guardians of the Galaxy on that particular label. I'm trying not to ruin it by qualifying details. So I thought it was kind of neat, but I wasn't surprised. I mean, I understand the physics of this. So
okay, introducing Iceland verse. Polymatic link /11k.
Yeah. I assume this is the meta knockoff video, which I never watched, keynote or whatever it is.
It was very good.
Yeah. Okay, so this was there's a couple people who do stuff like this, but they found it. Polymatic.link/11v. Uh, yeah, it's amazing what you can do with Google Maps or
Yeah.
Google Earth. Let me say that. So.
I don't get those wallpapers anymore.
I don't know when the. I mean, I've seen it before. I don't know when the last time I saw it. That stuff comes up on your lock screen or whatever it is.
Yeah,
But
yeah, but
like,
it doesn't show up on my lock screen anymore. It used to all the time, and then now every time I boot up, if I get a different photo.
they're sourced, I believe, out of Bing photos.
Oh, what might have
So,
happened is that
so
I turned
Microsoft, I guess.
that.
Well, Bill Gates owns Getty Images. So I don't know if Microsoft owns Getty Images. I have no idea, but I believe they're resourced from Getty Images, and then they're licensed by Bing, and Bing puts that stuff up. So usually, if you look somewhere, there's like credits, and you click on that, it will open up. It'll open up the Bing webpage with the details about the photographer and all the stuff. So
Okay. So I've got another one. Supercomputers. Polymatic link /11L.
yeah. So I mean, what's the labeling of supercomputers? I mean, it looks
Okay,
neat.
so
Don't get
the
me
idea
wrong, it
behind
looks
this
neat.
is I'll
Yeah.
tell you. Okay, so the idea behind this is during his streams, at some point he made a panel which he described as a supercomputer because it looks like one of those sci-fi supercomputers.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what it is.
Got it. Okay. I will tell
It's just a
you.
panel of flashing LEDs.
So, short, relevant tangent. So, I worked at a company called Unisys very early in my career. And one of the guys that I sort of knew there had been there for, I don't know, maybe 20, 30 years at that point. And he was there at the very, I guess, the end of the days of a company called Sperry. Okay. Unisys comes around because there was a company called Burroughs, and Burroughs and Sperry merged and they became one company and they named themselves Unisys. And the building that I worked in was one of a few buildings which is where they made the mainframes, and I guess in the 1960s the equivalent of what you would call a supercomputer. And he was telling me a story that there was a moment where they found that like IBM was starting to put some blinky lights on their supercomputers. So Sperry had a small engineering team where they literally had created these light panels that were not like the reading of. There was no hard drives back then, like not network, not anything, not computing. They made these they on their later series, which apparently made the computer sell better. They built these little light panel displays that were just uniquely, when the computer was powered on, they would blink randomly to indicate like something is going on all the time.
Yeah, so there's some little electronics inside the LEDs
Yeah.
themselves, and they blink on their own.
So technically, what he's doing is exactly kind of what they used to do.
Hmm.
There again, he's like, oh yeah, there should be a team of people. That's all they did is they figured out how to put the little light display things up on on the computers. And I thought, oh, that's such a human problem. But that was Polymatic dot link /11L.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So this guy, and I'm starting to find another one. So he's starting to surface in my For You page on TikTok. But this guy kind of he knows a lot about the history of things, and he lives in New York City. And he just goes, and you see these videos that he takes. He does these one take videos where he just sort of goes around, records a thing with his phone, and he tells a story. And I thought the guy was generally pretty interesting. This just goes to his TikTok page, polymatic.link 11W, if you want to learn about history of, I guess, New York City.
Okay. I've got some. I've got a few of these. Next one is Polymatic.11M or 11M. Crumb, Cara Corvus, and Captain Sparkles went through LA on a manhunt. At least they were the people getting hunted, and they just walked through LA for a long time. But it's like really, it's a fun thing to watch. It's like nice to put on in the background or something like that. It's just a very long stream, so
Yeah, it was like 2 hours, I think.
yeah.
Yeah. All right, so this is a Shang-Chi spoiler, but it's interesting. So if you've watched Shang-Chi, then, this is something you might not have noticed. I had saw this before I watched the movie, which encouraged me to realize that it was available to watch. So this was added value for me when those moments came up and I was looking for it. So for me, it wasn't really so much a spoiler, but definitely if you've seen the movie, you know it's a spoiler. So that being the case, Polymatic.link/11x. If you've not seen the movie, I recommend not spoiling this if this is an issue for you. So don't watch it until you've seen the movie.
Okay, next one is Code Miko shows how the sausage is made. Polymatic.link/11n. I'm not going to spoil anything.
Yeah. Okay, I'm trying to remember what the hell. Oh, right. Okay, this is just sort of on the spectrum of, oh, that's cute. That's adorable. Polymatic.link/11y. I just threw that randomly in there because I know you started throwing hamster videos in. So.
Yeah. Okay. Next one is another Crumb, Cara, and Captain Sparkles video. They had an interesting stream where they basically broke a camera. Polymatic.link/11o for them making macarons.
Yeah, that's another 2-hour one.
I think it's an hour.
Well, I know it was long. That's what I recall. Yeah. But that was Polymatic.link/11o.
11o, yes.
Yeah. Okay, so I thought this again was just sort of funny, made me chuckle. I think this is a good neighbor tip, especially if some weird neighbors. Polymatic.link/11z.
Did you vacuum your driveway?
No, because my immediate neighbor, he's not bad. He's pretty nice. In fact, the other day he gave me homemade sausage, which was pretty good. And he gives me like tomatoes and like I give him stuff. In fact, after I'm done with like draining cold brew coffee, I take the grounds and I give that to his wife, and she uses that for fertilizer for her garden and stuff, where they make the tomatoes and all kinds of stuff. So.
Okay.
Good neighbor tip, Polymatic.link/11z, if I didn't mention it.
Okay, so there's a new expansion to new stuff in the Animal Crossing. Gyroids are now here, and they're pretty weird. Polymatic.link/11p.
Okay. Oh, right, that's what those things are. I didn't know what the hell those things were. Okay, that makes more sense. I've not witnessed those things. I don't know. I don't know how you get there. Okay, so I thought maybe I should throw in something to YouTube. I haven't really been throwing any music lately. Like Orla has released some new stuff. I mean, not new to me, new to the world. I don't think you care. So I don't link any of that stuff. I don't know if you care about this one either, but Caitlin Tarver is another artist that I follow. She's got new stuff coming out. It's called Year From Now. Polymatic.link/120.
It was pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay. So Alan, where can they find you?
On the internet.
On the internet. Okay, you can find him on Twitter at Chase CHAESS, and you can find me on Twitter at WebDevy WEBDEVVIE. For feedback, you can reach us at podcast@Polymatic.media. Our music is by Say Uns, which you can find at Polymatic.link/EK. Our Twitter is The Polymatic. Our website is Polymatic.media, and I hope you tune in next time.